You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm my friendship. Oh,
you know what time it is. Roll with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. And it's Buckeyes by a billion. We in the building with over 100,000. We represent from the uttermost to the public housing. And if we don't play, all wide receivers got your secondary shook, so they cook them like Bobby Flay. Hey, stay out of my way and trust me, cause I know it's OH. Somebody please give this brother an IO. Come on.
What's up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk college football with real fans. I'm Melo, and that's the guru, Mecah Hanna. How you doing, Mecah?
Good, how are you, man?
Man, I'm doing well. Trying to stay positive. It's kind of hard doing this podcasting thing and remaining positive with so much negativity in our fan base, right? So today we wanted to do something a little bit different. We might hit a little bit of recruiting, but we wanted to just discuss why Buckeye Nation shouldn't panic right now about the recruiting situation. So Mecah, I'll let you start us off on this topic.
I mean, a lot of these kids, especially in the 26th class, in the defensive end in particular, these guys haven't even played their senior year. And at this time of year, Sam Hubbard was still playing lacrosse for Notre Dame. People need to keep in mind there's plenty of time left for these guys to shoot up and grow. And Elijah Jones-Smith from Pickerton North, which is a guy that I've been high on for a while, he went from 220 to 240 just over this past summer, and I look for him to make a big jump. There's a lot of guys across the country, people need to stop panicking. We will be fine, but the coaching staff will find guys. Corey Wilder wasn't even on anybody's radar a few months ago, and look what he's doing.
So Mecah, I agree with you 100%. I feel like what happens in the fan base, right? I don't think the fan base, and I was just thinking about this earlier today, actually, before we even discussed that we were going to talk about this today. The fan base is being very short-sighted, right? They have limited information. They watch a lot of the different podcasts and Buckeye Nation, which there are several that you can pick from and choose from. So we appreciate you if you're watching this, by the way. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you like the content. But as I was thinking, if I was a fan and I didn't have this position, just a normal fan, I could understand the overreaction because you don't know what you don't know, right? But with the idea of this show and how me and Devin started this show, we're trying to get a deeper insight on the recruiting side of the football because it's the lifeblood of all programs. You don't want to have to live in a portal. And as a typical average fan, all you're seeing is you could look at 247 on 3, I would say Rivals, but they combined in ESPN high school recruiting rankings. And that's all you're basing your judgment off of. You're not looking at the bigger picture, which is what Ohio State has. For instance, specifically with the D-line, Kenyatta Jackson could come back next year.
Yeah.
Caden Curry could come back next year. Bo Atkinson could come back next year. Caden McDonald could come back next year. Edric Houston could come back next year, right?
And
so you have.
I look for Dominic Cooks and Joshua Mickens to make a step. They weren't even on our radar this time when they committed, and they committed to us, and I look for them to have a big year coming up too. I'm very high on Dominic Cooks and Joshua Mickens.
Absolutely. But what I'm saying, people are talking about the D-line recruiting. So that's more not this year, more about next year and then the year after, right? But what people aren't factoring in is that our whole starting line, whichever combination you want to put, could come back next year. So when you have guys that are commanding from other schools over $1 million, and maybe your starters, I don't know what they're making, but if you wanted to get a top tier lineman or a linebacker, and they're getting offered 1.4, 1.5 million from other schools, and you have to at least hit them with $1 million. So that resets your whole market in terms of your current team. That means everybody that's already here and that's already starting is at a minimum going to want $1 million. So
Absolutely.
they're not. So that means you have 14 million in revenue sharing to spread amongst the whole team. If the clearinghouse holds up and this stuff holds up legally in court once the lawsuit starts rolling in. So from Ohio State standpoint, they're like, we can't offer you this, even though the kids want to be Buckeyes. That's their first choice. Is everything is all equal. Trust me, it's their first choice. But with a huge payday like that, it takes a strong family, a strong kid to turn that type of money down. That's why we're saying culture is our currency here. You have to buy into the culture over the money initially in order to sign with Ohio State, because you can make 3 times, 4 times the amount that Ohio State's going to offer you out of high school somewhere else. And that's what people aren't explaining to their audience and their fan base. They just throw up, well, they dropped in rankings here. Look at this. Look at where they're at in terms of 4 and 5 stars. Yes, as soon as NIL came, the rankings started dropping. There has to be nuance with it. So Ohio State's looking at the bigger picture, and they're banking on that the clearinghouse and the settlement and the rev sharing is going to hold up in court. And if it does, then you're going to see a lot of decommitments from other places, and maybe some kids flip back into the class. Maybe not. We'll see.
And not to mention there's going to be coaching changes and all kinds of stuff going on. It's none of this stuff is set in stone yet. People act like just because a kid's committed now, it's set in stone, and it's not. I get that there's money being thrown around and stuff, but that can change. If coaching staffs and stuff changes, there are ways around these types of things. Like, slow your roll, calm down, meditate, touch grass, whatever you need to do. Just breathe. It'll be fine.
Absolutely. And you made a good point about coaching changes, seasons having to be played out. For instance, I mean, my daughter is going to play Division I soccer out in California, but a lot of people don't even realize the NLI, the National Letter of Intent, isn't even a thing anymore. When you're signing and they're doing all these pictures for signing, they're not signing that paper because it doesn't mean anything. So kids could transfer in that first portal. They could commit, go on campus, and then leave. We got Julian saying that way. Granted, it took Nick Saban to retire, but none of this is set in stone. And now the worst case scenario, right? We'll discuss the worst case scenario since this is something that's pretty major in the fan base right now. Yeah. Worst case scenario, for instance, I'm going to take USC because we all know what they're doing. They're throwing around funny money, period. It's funny money as of right now. Now, if they go and they sue the clearinghouse and they win, then that's the worst case scenario for Ohio State, because that would mean they miscalculated what was going to happen in terms of the final settlement, in terms of lawsuits and all that aspect. And they miscalculated, misjudged, and will strike out on a lot of players. And that's just something you're going to have to live with. Just like the initial year of NIL, where we lost Dylan Stewart and a lot of other people to NIL. And it'll be an adjustment period, and they'll reset next year. But then what you're going to have to look at is, will kids hit the portal? Because now you're going to bank on high school kids to come into your room and be the highest paid player in your room. There's going to be kids that are going to hit the portal, and it could erode the culture. And the culture is the reason I'm wearing this hat right now. You know what I mean, Mecah?
Yeah, the culture wins championships, not star rankings.
Exactly. But I mean, to a lot of people, they think it's the star rankings. But if that was the case, why didn't Texas A&M ever win anything?
And I'm saying, like, you cannot expect these young kids to come in and a lot of them to play right away, no matter what their ranking is. Like, it's just not how football works. It's a very physical game. These kids are still growing into their bodies. Like, just because they have a 5-star next to their name doesn't mean they're ready to get on the field. And you don't want to, tick off the guys that have put the work into your program because we're trying to wine and dine these high school kids, man. And I don't blame these kids for taking this money. That's a lot of money. That's life-changing money. Please, guys, stop coming after these kids. If you don't agree with their decision, that's fine, but leave them alone.
And another thing, when we're talking about leaving kids alone, leave our own current commits alone. Stop bashing them. Stop projecting your interferes on these kids. These kids have a bright future. They have their future ahead, and they have the athletic ability and talent to play at the Ohio State University. Mind you, has put the most players in the NFL draft in the history of college football. So if they have that, and then they have a work ethic to go with that, and we have the best coaching staff in America in terms of development, we're going to be perfectly fine. Will it take a little bit longer to reach our goals? Yes, it could. But you add that in the way we are the best. I think Coach Day and our staff is the best in terms of pulling from the portal or getting transfer kids. It's just proven over time that we just snipe the right kids that are impact players immediately. So you guys have to relax. You have to chill. The team's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. Coach LJ is not the problem. I talked to a lot of players. They love Coach LJ. Most of them consider him the GOAT, but you're not considering the factor of the massive amount of money that they're getting offered other places, and the fact that Ohio State doesn't want to upset the culture or the rooms in the locker room. Because say a kid comes in and maybe he's a linebacker and he gets like $3 million or $4 million, like a Felix Ojo, and okay, so now he's a linebacker freshman wanting that. Arvell Reese is going to want that. Imagine what, say Devin Sanchez has an amazing season, which I'm projecting. I think he's going to be a freshman All-American.
Absolutely.
Or Riley Pettijohn, right? Or TJ Alford. Then they're going to want to be on the same ballpark as that kid. Or say Carson Hinsman has an insane year and he wants to come back one more year. You have to pay him that kind of money. Julian Sayin, right? JJ. Which Optimus Prime is going to get paid regardless. But what happens if Ennis leads the team in yards and receptions? Because we know that with the style of offense, for the most part, now we don't know 100% because Heartline is going to change some things up, but they like to hit that slot receiver a lot. Usually the slot receiver has the most targets. So it's a whole bigger picture that people are not factoring in. They just want to bash LJ. They want to bash the recruiting class, which our D-line class is pretty damn good right now. So if we land
exactly.
KJ Ford tomorrow, or should I say later today, then what are you going to say? Now we look like we have a really solid, super solid D-line, maybe elite in my opinion. And who knows what's going to happen with Deuce Geralds. Maybe Deuce Geralds decides, hey, I'm not choosing the bag. I want to go play with my brothers, K-Mac, Edric Houston. I know Caleb Downs, that's my boy, and I love Ohio State, so I'm going to pick the culture. Now you're talking about top defensive line in the country, period.
And we got guys on our roster that have already shown that, the rankings don't matter. Look at how much people have been talking about Jarquez Carter and Jake Cook, and they were three stars.
But stars matter, Mecah, to a lot of these people. And there's a lot of people that do what we do, Mecah, that are pushing this whole stars agenda. And I get it. Like, it's a hot topic. You could find any type of thing to prove or disprove your theory, right, in terms of doing this, because there's no one size shoe that fits all. But I just feel like a lot of it is just people are not looking at the actual nuance. They think they are, but they're not really. They're just skimming water level deep, because they don't have the bigger picture. Why? One, they don't talk to these kids. They don't talk to the kids' families. They don't talk to people close to the kids. And they definitely don't talk to anybody in the WAC. So they don't have sources. So they're really fans just like we are, but without the sources to give them that little more intelligence when they're speaking. So they don't give you the bigger picture. They just skim the surface area, and it sounds real good. They dress it up nice and pretty, put a little bow on top of it, and they present it well to you guys, and they entertain you, which is our job. We want to entertain you. and you guys just run with it, and it just freaks you out even more. It raises your hysteria, but guess what? That draws you back to watch again, and it drives up the viewership as well. We all know that's why the news spreads a lot of negativity when you watch the news at night. That's why I don't watch the news, because positivity doesn't spread as fast as negativity. People, it's easier to fearmonger people into watching your show and watching your content than to give them the positive, like look on the bright side. For instance, last year, right, Mecah? Everybody was against Coach Justin Fry, right?
Fry.
I was one of them. I'm gonna be honest. I was one of them. I didn't like how he recruited. I didn't like when Devin presented the information about his recruits, the percentage of recruits that he was offering out compared to other people, and
That
told
was
me about it.
That was my only issue with Fry, was the amount of recruits that he
But
offered.
hey, but you got to look at it like this, Mika. When Devin told me that, I was on some like, oh, I want Justin Fry out of it. I went as far as this, Mika. I have egg in the face. I'm not too prideful to admit it. I went as far as going on the show and saying, even if we win a natty, Justin Fry has to go. And it's the most ignorant thing ever, especially if we saw what happened with our O-line in terms of losing Josh Simmons, the best left tackle, the best tackle period in college football, losing the best center in college football, and then winning a natty against all those elite defensive lines with only guards. We have 5 guards.
Absolutely.
So at the end of the day, the development is more important than the star rankings coming out of high school.
Yeah, there's no other program in the country, I think, that could do what we just did last season with the injuries and stuff that we sustained. I don't think people realize how impressive that was.
Absolutely. And I mean, Justin Fry gets all the credit right there. We can't take away from Justin Fry, right? So, like, obviously his strategy worked. Instead of offering a million of these high school kids, I'm going to offer a few of them. And I realize it now. I'm going to offer a few of them, develop real strong relationships. If I could pull 1 or 2 of them, I could bring them into the program, and then we're going to go snipe someone that's elite that already proved themselves at a D1 level. And I'm going to take their game and elevate it even higher. And I'm going to get them to fit with the rest of the O-line. See, people think there's only one way to skin a cat. There's a million ways to skin a cat, right? So there's a million ways to get the job done. And also, if the D-line was, say, for instance, which I don't believe this, I'm just going to throw it out there because a lot of people do believe this. Say the D-line isn't that strong. You think Matt Patricia, with his genius and the type of linebackers we have and the type of DBs we have, that he won't scheme it up and switch it up to hide that weakness?
Oh, he will absolutely scheme it up. And I know for a fact that we're going to see some more defensive fronts this year than we ever have.
Absolutely.
It's going to be amazing.
Absolutely. And with that being said, that's also another reason why not to panic. We have the right coaches in place. We have the right athletes in place. All of our athletes that we've recruited are all versatile. They can play more than one position. We watched them line up KJ inside last year. We watched them line up Caden Curry inside in a 3-tech type of role last year. Bo Atkinson was used in a 3-tech type of role at times with North Carolina. All of them that could play defensive end. You have Tywan Malone, you have K-Mac, you have Edric Houston, big bodies, Jason Moore, you're Will Smith. We're acting like just because they haven't done a whole lot here that they're not capable of doing something this year, or they're not capable of growing and improving. And people have this misconception that the coaching staff didn't believe in them. If they didn't, they would have went out and got replacements. I promise you. They would have kindly escorted them towards the portal and point them in that direction, but like, where you want to go, we got a spot for you that we're going to help you because we feel like you can still develop here.
Or
they do that all the time in college.
Or the other way, if the kids felt like they weren't going to do something, they'd be out in the portal. Nobody jumped. Nobody of significance. No starters jumped. Well, even
no scholarship athlete.
No scholarship guys jumped. And it was just, you don't hear that. Like, how many programs can say that?
Uno.
Exactly. The number 1 program in the country.
And it's been that way for a while. I'll give Bama. I won't argue with Bama fans if they want to claim that. But if you look at the history of college football, I feel like Ohio State is the best program, the most consistent program since its conception. The only program to never have 8 losses in a season.
We are definitely the most consistent program in the
Absolutely.
country, if not the best. And I personally think we're the best, but I might have scarlet colored glasses on. I don't know.
Well, I mean, obviously we're going to lean that way, but there's statistics that prove it. Whether you want to talk about players and currency, how much they made in the NFL, you go by position group. How many touchdowns, you go by position groups. If you want to go wide receiver, how many sacks, you go by position group. You can go NFL draft picks all time. You could just take whatever metric you want, and it's going to be either Ohio State or Bama.
I'm just saying, there's plenty of time for in-state kids to make a push. There's out-of-state guys that aren't even on our radar to grow into the bodies and make a push. We still got plenty of time. There's no reason to panic.
And one last thing I want to make a point, Mika. You can't have all 5 stars, right? Because if you say we recruited all 5 stars, someone's hitting that portal because somebody has to wait their turn. So you need to mix it up with super elite kids that you could sprinkle in to play right away. And then kids that are going to take time to develop. That way they're in the program, they're learning the culture, they're teaching the culture, they're passing it down, they're developing that grind and that work ethic that's going to be contagious to the rest of the team. And then when they're ready, they're going to explode. Ty Hamilton, right? Like, he didn't have a massive role before last year, and he came in and he played a massive part and a massive key into our natty run, and then he got drafted. So at the end of the day, people can hate on LJ all they want. They can hate on these kids, which I think is just ridiculous for a grown man or any adult hating on a kid. Like, it is just, that's pathetic. It doesn't get any more pathetic than that.
Please don't do that, guys. I'm asking Buckeye Nation, please don't do that.
Especially if you have a platform. You have to have the responsibility, the emotional wherewithal to know not to bash the kids. So that's pretty much all I had for today. You got anything else you want to hit on?
And everyone knows me. I'm a film junkie. I watch film.
Yep.
It's my obsession. If you don't believe me, go watch these films for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You will learn, just like I did, that these rankings don't mean everything. I'm telling you, they don't mean everything. It's okay.
Hey, you want to know something else, Mika? People want to bring up the rankings, right? And the stars. You know who's put in the most 3 stars into the NFL draft? Into the NFL period on top of that?
Us.
The Ohio State University. So stop crying about, their star rankings. They're going to develop here. They're going to be elite. They'll be household names eventually at some point. And I just don't like it. Somebody came from JJ Perez. And if you watch our interview that me and Dev did, that kid is really special. He's a really good kid. He has that self-belief, and he's a grinder. And I didn't like that at all. Like, I think that was just corny, honestly.
All these kids are we do not recruit boneheads. We recruit excellent people, excellent young men. And that's important.
Yep. And you know what else? This is the crazy thing, Mika. There's people that know some of these recruits because they live by them. But, like, for instance, there's a slot corner. He's a slot corner. He's not an outside corner. That went to USC from Ohio that got $1 million NIL evaluation. Do you think Ohio State's going to pay a slot corner $1 million out of high school to come play here? And he won't even get on the field day one. He wouldn't. He would not get on the field day one. He's not going to play over Bryce West. He's not going to play over Aaron Scott. He might not play over Miles Lockhart. And then we still have Jordan Thomas coming in, who's not a slot, but you never know how they're going to use. And what if Jermaine Matthews comes back? And you think we should pay him $1 million?
Jordan Thomas is an excellent defensive back.
Oh yeah.
excellent. I want to make that clear. The kids that we got in this class are absolutely phenomenal, regardless of their ranking. I want
Absolutely.
to just make that perfectly clear. Nobody better bash anybody in this class.
Absolutely. But I hope they take heed your advice, Mika, but I have a feeling they won't. They're going to continue to be who they are, and that they're showing their true character when they do that. And
You
it's
know,
okay. You know,
fans, fans short for fanatic, man. It
yeah,
happens. We,
absolutely. But do you have any final words for Buckeye Nation before we get up out of here?
just be positive. Don't spread the negativity and support the team, man. That's what we're here for. We're fans. Support the team. Support the coaches. Show these kids some love. Whether they're ranked a 5-star or 3-star or whatever they're ranked, show them some love. They put in a lot of hard work, and we should respect that. That's all I'm asking.
Absolutely. My final message for Buckeye Nation: hey, enjoy it. We're in a dynastic time frame right now. This doesn't happen very often. I know that Ohio State is the most consistent program in the country, but right now we're on the top. And I think we're going to be on top for a few more years, minimally. So enjoy it while you can. Try not to complain, because I mean, if we hit a downslide at some point, it could be bad, and you're going to be reminiscing on these times like, man, I wish I would have enjoyed it more. So I personally feel like within the next 2 years, we win at least one more natty, if not two.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely, man. I've said it for months. We're building a dynasty. It's happening. It's
absolutely enjoy the process. Enjoy Optimus Prime, JJ Smith while we have him. Enjoy the SFE wideouts, Bryson Rogers, Desi Jones, Quincy Porter. They're not going to be here forever. Chris Henry's coming in. Caden Dixon-White is coming in. Enjoy Caleb Downs last season here. Enjoy Sonny Styles. Sonny Styles is second year ever playing linebacker. Just think about that in his life. Arvell Reese is about to explode. KJ is about to have double-digit sacks. Like, enjoy it. Devin Sanchez is about to remind you of Jeff Okuda as a freshman. Just think about that with Jermaine Matthews and Igbinosun not being as handsy and using better technique. Like, this team is elite. We got an elite coaching staff. We got elite players. We got a fast player. We got a fast team. Enjoy this offensive line. You're going to see something special with this offensive line. People are sleeping on this offensive line. But that's the message I have for you guys. Stay positive. Negativity can mess up your soul. Don't let it. And keep God first. On that note, go Bucks. OH.
like, share, comment, subscribe.
Yes.
We love you.
IO.
I am.